Some species of game fish are picky eaters that prefer one type of forage over all others, but not bluegill. These tasty panfish adapt their diets to whatever's on the menu, from tiny zooplankton and insect larvae to minnows and other small fish. Let's join Fish Ed host Jon Thelen to see what the bluegill he's after are eating today.
Here they come. Vehicle. Got him. Feels like a pretty good one. There's a lot of fish coming through here right now. Just a great pile of fish that we're on right now. Oh yeah, look at this one. Got them tangled up in my transducer. Let's just kind of throw that whole thing out there so we don't lose them. Sometimes that's the easiest way to handle that right there. Just throw that whole transducer out there and just get that fish up on the ice like that. Man, that is just a big, beautiful gill. And let me tell you what we're doing today. We're out fishing in an area where we're going to get a combination of fish. We're going to get some bluegills. We're going to get some crappies. And I'll tell you why. The fish are eating right here. But one of the most important things you can do, look at that fish. Boy, is he pretty. Look at the colors on him. You know, different lakes are different. Some lakes, you'll get those dark colored bluegills. The lake I'm on today, man, I'll tell you what, it grows these yellowish, just beautiful fish. That's a great gill right there. We'll let him go. But here's the key to what we're doing today. What we've done is we're going out and we're trying to figure out exactly what the fish are eating. And when you get that figured out, here's the thing. You can keep up with them all winter long because they're going to change their eating habits, not only daily, but they're going to change their feeding habits throughout the whole winter. So when you can get dialed in on any given day to exactly what these fish are eating, here's what you can do. You can catch them consistently, but you can also keep up with them and their movements. And when you can do that, that's when you really got a bite dialed in. Let's get back down there because we got 4 or 5 of them down there. And I really want to capitalize on these because these are big ones that are sitting in there right now. Here comes another one. Boy, he's coming up hot. He's going to hit it. Let's hope this is another one of those good ones. Oh, boy, he was just, it was almost like that fish was just breathing on it. I just started lifting and he was able to get off. Here he comes. There he is. Got him that time. Look at that. Man, I'll tell you the other thing. When you get on a school of fish, like what we're on right here, I'll tell you what, you got to move pretty quick. Because when these fish get stacked up down there and they get feeding, they're looking for something to come right back down on them. And I'm able to drop down so quick. Look at that. That's a great eater. Like I say, if we were keeping them today, that'd be a great dinner-sized fish after catching that big one. You know, when they fill the palm of your hand like that, that's a great dinner fish, but we'll get him out of here. We're not going to keep him today, but here's the thing. When I talk about fishing fast, and there's another one down there right now, I mean, I'm going to want to get down there really quick again. But here's what I'm fishing. I'm fishing a Lindy tungsten toad. Now, I'm fishing a big size today because I'm fishing for bigger fish, and I'm trying to look a little bit bigger down there. So I'm fishing the number 10. This thing comes in 3 different sizes. You can get it in a 10, a 12, or a 14. And all of them have that tungsten, the attributes of tungsten. They get down there fast. And when you look at these fish that are still sitting down there, one of the most important things you can do is get right back down there while they're hot. Because if you can't get down there quick, here's what happens. Those fish will move on. And when you look at what happened right there that quick, I'm able to get hooked up again right away and just keep capitalizing on these fish, because here's what's going to happen. These gills, they're going to move on if they don't see food. But here's the thing. Fish like this one right here, as long as he sees food down there, he'll stick around and they'll keep eating. And that whole school's still sitting right under me here. And there'll be streaks where I'll sit here and I'll not catch fish. And then there'll be times like right now where it's almost a fire drill and you just want to be able to get back down there as quick as you can. Because if you do, you're going to just keep catching. The other thing that you really got to pay attention to is not just necessarily about figuring out exactly what they're eating, but it's also looking like what they're eating. So when I'm fishing that spoon up in shallower water, when they're up there on that harder bottom and they're eating minnows, I can keep that thing moving more, because very seldom is a minnow just going to freeze in the water and sit there. There's going to be some kind of constant movement. So I'm going to have a constant movement on that spoon. Even when those fish show up close, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to just wiggle that rod tip. But here's the thing I do a little bit different. When I'm fishing these situations where I'm out here in this soft bottom and I'm trying to emulate that larva that they're eating, that larva is not moving a whole lot, not in the winter months. I mean, when they're picking this stuff off the bottom or picking off whatever might be floating around, it's not on the move. It's not like a minnow. So what I'll do is I'll jig fairly aggressively until I get their attention. But as soon as I get them moving up, and they're interested in coming up, that's when I want to look as natural as I can. And I pretty much just stop the bait. I might wiggle it just a little bit if they start leaving, but I just pretty much hit the brakes on the bait, let that fish come up and look at it, and eventually he'll just reach in and grab it. Come on. Come on. You can see how much I'm slowing down. This fish is just staring at it, and I mean, I'm just bringing the rod tip almost a dead stop. I mean, there's just that little bit of movement that you've got naturally. There he is, right there, he bit it. Look at that. Ooh, this feels like a big one. This is a good one. You can tell, man, I mean, when a fish like this hits, boy, he came up and he just gave me that feeling, the way he looked on the screen like he was a real good fish. Just the way, oh yeah, this is a giant. Get that out of there. Look at this one. Holy smokes. Look at the size of this gill, man. I just love catching big bluegills. Look at the size of that fish right there. Holy moly, is that a big fish. But a fish like this, he gets that big because he's always eating, and he's constantly being able to decide what he's going to eat. And he's not real scared of those few pike that are busting around here, or those few bass or whatever it is. Once a fish hits a point like that, holy smokes, a bluegill, he can eat whatever he wants. And he's up there eating minnows at one point of the year. He's out here eating larvae now at this point of the year. Man, that's a giant fish. That is just an awesome fish. I just love the colors on some of these fish too. This lake, like we were talking about, it just colors some of them different. I mean, they just get that lighter color. That's just awesome. Let's get this guy back in the water. We'll let him go. But that's a giant right there, boy. There he is, got him. Oh, that one feels like a real good one too. You always can tell when you set the hook and that rod just kind of doubles over and you don't really move them. That's usually a pretty decent gill when you're using an ultralight. Oh yeah, look at that fish. Oh jeez. Oh, he come unhooked. And I got lucky. I was able to get down there and get him. Look at that one. How pretty is that one? That one's got some of that pink on him too. Man, that fish is just awesome. What a great way to wrap up the day. It's pretty simple though. Get out, figure out what these fish are eating. You know, you can kind of figure that out by time of the year a little bit. You know, a little later, they're going to be out a little deeper in that soft bottom. A little earlier, they're going to be up in that harder bottom eating more of those minnows. But when you get that bait connection figured out and you know exactly what these fish are eating, you can sit and catch fish like that pretty much all day long. I mean, it gets pretty doggone consistent. As soon as you know what they're eating, you can do the same thing. Look at that. What a great fish.